Mondays through Fridays, 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. in the newsroom. You can't afford to miss it.
Yes, and good afternoon. Welcome to the program in the newsroom on Osbc television. It is on this program that we discuss very big topics of national magnitude, where the matters tabled for discussion are dispassionately trashed. Today we have three topics as usual. New revenue formula, governors meet Buhari. Nigerian Army's fighting power increased in 7 years, Buhari. NEC, that is National Executive Council, suspends subsidy removal. Those are the three topics for discussion this afternoon. And the gentlemen of the press who are always on the program are here, except one who is unavoidably absent. I want to start from my immediate right, Muideen Adeleke. Welcome to the newsroom.
Thank you for having me. I say good afternoon to our esteemed viewers. I'm glad to be in the newsroom.
Thank you very much. Dele Ajayi is also here. Dele, you're welcome to the program.
Good afternoon. It's nice being here, and welcome to the best place to be this particular hour.
Yes, the revenue sharing formula has always been in contention from the day one of Nigeria's independence to this moment. They have always been calling for a review. Very recently, governors met, let me call them the outgoing president, Muhammadu Buhari, over matters that concern the revenue sharing formula. At least they want a way of getting the revenue formula reviewed. Each governor wants it in favor of his own state. There are times when people said states should be giving more than the federal government because of the responsibilities of the state governors. Local governments should come next, and federal government should have the least. People come with a lot of theories and suggestions on the revenue sharing formula within. But for governors to make Buhari at the twilight of his administration, is it not priority misplaced?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. First, we have to take a look at the situation of things before now. You did say it that there had been a kind of agitation for an upward review of the revenue formula all along. We all know that it's been lopsided all along. When you give the federal government 52.68% of the total revenue to the nation, to the federal government, and just 26.72% to all the 36 states of the federation. Then local government, 77 and 74 local governments were being given something not more than 20.60%. So I don't think we've stayed on this for too long, and that's why a lot of people are alleging that the load, that there's so much money at the federal level. In some years past, in the past years, the unspent allocation was usually shared. In 2007, I had the opportunity of going outside the country, and I met a guy who told me how the unspent allocation was being shared. He was, and I want to believe he's still a public servant. It was usually shared down the line. If the director, the head of the ministry, let's say PS, was taking 10 million, those under him would share down the line, and that was it. Unspent allocation. That was then.
Deliberately.
I'm telling you, and no, you see, most of the allocation, allocation for capital project among others, will not be released early enough. It will be released very late, so that it could eventually
go down the drain.
No, it will not be spent.
No, it will remain there.
So if it is usually it was not usually returned to the post, but shared. So what we are saying in essence is that the closest government to the grassroots is local government.
Yeah.
So if the entire 774 local governments, if local governments are performing wonders, nobody will care about what the federal government is doing. In fact, it will be a kind of it will remove much burden that the states will have carried. So when you now give 774 local governments about 20.06 or what we call 60% of the entire budget revenue accruing to the nation, then you want to say that that is not the way to go. But taking a look at the fact that this thing had been proposed since 2021, it was supposed to have been taken effect from 2021. But look at the time. They are even planning. The governors are even planning to meet the president. They have not even met with the president. The plan is to ensure that the bill is presented before the National Assembly. Not to even talk of passing the bill and making it operational by assenting before. But how would the National Assembly be able to pass that bill now? To become
has not even been drafted.
No, it's supposed to be taken to the federal government executive, supposed to take it to table it before the National Assembly for necessary debate and what have you. And at the end of the day, unfortunately, it has not attracted the attention of the federal. Maybe the federal government is not ready to shed the weight. So what is being proposed is 45.17% for the federal. Yeah. Then for the all 36 states of the federation, 29.79%, and a slight increment, 21.04% for local governments. So it is still insignificant. It used to be 52%, but now 45%. Well, we can say it is a bit manageable.
Well,
but I don't know.
When you first heard that the governors are planning to meet Buhari at this time over revenue sharing formula, what really came to your mind?
It is offensive to the mind. Very absurd. Let me quickly correct one thing. You said this agitation started since independence. No. Immediately Nigeria gained independence in 1960. What we have then was true federalism.
Fiscal federalism.
True federalism.
Yeah.
Each region, the western region, the eastern region, the northern region, each region was allowed, each of them was allowed to develop at its own pace. Make your money, spend your money.
You contribute to the
you pay royalty,
a percentage
to the federal government. Not you go cap in hand begging for money from federal government. It was after the 1966 coup.
Yeah, when the military took over.
When Johnson and Rossi came and forced Nigeria into a kind of unitary government.
Yeah.
And we have since then been practicing unitary government. So somebody will tell you we are practicing federalism, but the likes of Baba Kede will say, but Balagi will tell you this is not true federalism. Baba Kede authored a book, Alagbeshola delivered papers, delivered lectures on the kind of federalism we practice in Nigeria, charade, border dash. Now, governors going to beg Buhari, to request Buhari to sign or to send the new revenue formula to the National Assembly. It is offensive to the mind. It is absurd. It is unheard of. Each state in Osun we have gold.
And many other
things. In Ondo there is bitumen, there is petroleum,
yes,
crude oil in Ondo. In South, they have these mineral resources. But the federal government will take almost everything. Power without responsibility. 52%. And you want to oversee primary school, St. Joseph Primary School, okay, from Abuja. That is not done. You take much money, you enrich your directors, you enrich your permanent secretary, you enrich the federal government, public servants, at the detriment of the less privileged Nigerians. But who do you blame? The politicians, the National Assembly. The only answer, the only antidote to this is through federalism. Through federalism. Each federating unit should be allowed to oversee the mineral resources in its state, in that region. Pay royalty to the federal government. That will douse the tension. Everybody wants to go to Abuja now, to the National Assembly. You want to become minister. You want to become president. You want to be, because of the pot of soup in Abuja, full of meat and assorted this kind of fish, bama, and everything.
Orishirishi.
You have them there in Abuja. Meanwhile, some states are suffering.
I hope you are not planning to go to Abuja.
Well, if there's opportunity,
okay.
Why not?
Okay.
Why not?
It's a Nigeria.
To serve Nigeria.
With all
my strength.
Okay, that's okay.
Yes, Dele, let me come back to Muideen before we finally close on that topic. How will you suggest to the federal government or to Nigerians? Because now we only have the federal government, all others are just mere appendages to the federal government. There are no significant I don't know how to say it. They are not, when you are going cap in hand to somebody, you become subservient to that person. You can no longer do anything. You cannot do anything. You know what happened during Obasanjo and Tinubu's time in Lagos was an eyesore, to say the least.
Whoever say it was an
eyesore, it was an eye-opener, because of the fact that, in fact,
President
with what happened there,
allocation.
Yes, with what happened there, it is easy for the state to really look
inward
if they really want to do it, and see the federal allocation as
you don't forget you wanted to ask a question.
Yes.
So that you don't end up joining
yes.
the crew.
Now let me go to my question.
Okay.
Because I was already carried away. I was carried away. Anyway, the federal government is not ready to relinquish what is in his hands. The state government are struggling for what they may not get easily, except it is backed up by law. Those beneficiaries of the situation, who do we call? How do we do it now? Because
you have more or less said it all. It is the most heinous crime for a man to commit, to support injustice, especially when you are benefiting from such a jaundiced system.
yeah,
I want to believe that I did say something, I posted it also, that if the Christians ended their own lengthened session or season before the Muslim had their own, maybe about a week ago or so, and when you are fasting in Islam, Allah has said that He is the beneficiary of your fast, and He is the one that will reward you for your fast. That means we fast with absolute trust, belief, and obedience to God Almighty. It is very easy for you and I to circumvent, go behind the scene, take your meal, and you clear your mouth, come to the open and say, yes,
and
this fast is really taking a toll on me. But we did not do that. Throughout the 30 or 29 days that we spent on Ramadan, you won't do such a thing, because you know quite all right that if you do it, you are not hoodwinking anybody. You are only engaging in self-deceit. But why do we hide behind the finger when it comes to mundane issues, even matters that affect us? If really we want the nation to develop, we know how to go about it. Fiscal federalism is the way. We can't gain anything in trying to rigmarole people into a particular. You did say it the other time. It's like passing the buck now. The outgoing administration want to pass the buck to the next, the incoming administration, and that one too might want to dodge it. It's like you don't want to say the truth, because you know that some people will feel offended. You say it. Call a spade instead of trying to say it's just an implement that is used in probably carrying sand or whatever. So let us just say it, that the federal government is having too much money to play with, and that is to the detriment of the average Nigerian, on the streets. Something has to be done, and even the states too will have to reckon with local governments as the closest government to the people.
yes.
And once that is done, we should not engage in self-deceit again. We should say it the way it is.
He made a point about, he made a very heavy weather about this fiscal federalism, true federalism.
But I added fiscal federalism.
Yes.
That is what we need.
But good as the two of you have spoken well, those people who have been shouting through federalism, when they were in government, local government was killed, literally, to the disgraceful extent that the constitutional power of the local government was taken over by the state, in a situation whereby the government would just come and say, okay, I am appointed Sunday Omolawi as the chairman of so local government, and so be it, not giving the people the opportunity to vote for who they want, because that one will make the local government independent of the state. And the federal government too is trying something funny about the states too. In that situation, the state and the local government have a joint account, which I don't see any sense in it.
Tunde, don't go far. When did
you have not even asked your question?
When
did the issue of joint account start in Osun? Baba Kende did something very significant when some local governments were taking zero allocation, nil allocation. He brought all the local governments account together, to share to each local government, so that no local government will go home at the end of the month with nothing. At least in Osogbo then, Osogbo used to have nil allocation, zero allocation, no money. After payment of a second primary school teachers and some others, no allocation. It was a good retention. Baba Kende meant well. Oyinlola came. I was a supervisor in local government. We had sizable crop of money, amount of money to spend, pay bossy, do this, do that. Now, what we are saying really is, as according to him, fiscal federalism. And when you are talking of fiscal federalism, the local government is
the closest.
Is appendage of the state. The state determines how it want, a particular state will determine how it want to run the local government there. In true federalism, in Australia, in US, in some other countries, the local government doesn't exist in the national constitution. The state government will make law for the local government. That is true federalism. Now, what we are saying is this: we are not even talking about local government state relationship, but the Bible says, do unto others what you want them to do to you.
Yes.
Now, I'm glad that Tinubu is taking over by June 1.
Yes.
It will be sworn in on May 29. By June 1, first week of July, it will have fully become the country's president. He is an apostle, a strong apostle,
a
prominent apostle, or disciple of apostles or agitators for true federalism. He belonged to the class of the progressive politicians, Bola Ige, Baba Kende, that have always clamored for true federalism. We want, and he had tasted it. He had tasted the bitter pea of what excessive power could do. Obasanjo, he just said it, or you said it.
Yes.
Denied Lagos State its allocation for how many years? So, the onus is now on Tinubu to either restructure or rejig or ensure that the nation gets out of its present quagmire, this awkward situation where we are, through fiscal federalism, through federalism. So all eyes are on Tinubu one of my bosses just told me when we were coming, Tinubu ohun tó fẹ́ dà ló ti dà yìí o, according to Lasisi Olagunju's column, right up Monday lines. Ohun tó fẹ́ dà ló dà yìí. Nigerians will now, particularly the young ones, particularly agitators for true federalism, will not be looking up at Tinubu. Those who have been listening to him discussing restructuring, will not want to see what he will do. All eyes are on him to correct the lopsidedness of the past, the arbitrariness of the past, to correct all the imbalance. We are all looking up unto him. What would you do, Mr. Tinubu?
Thank you very much. We'll go to the next topic very quickly. Nigeria's fighting power increased in 7 years. Buhari. In the last 7 years that Buhari has been in the saddle, it has been, in fact, he inherited a country where insurgency was holding its way. And he did his best to at least reduce the rate of insurgency in the country, occasioned by kidnapping, killings here and there, and get the country back on its feet. He only did his best, though we still have pockets of what we used to have then, but it was not as much as it was there. Nigeria Army's fighting power increased in 7 years. Dele Ajayi, how will you assess the fighting power of the Nigerian Army?
I've not seen any fighting power. That was a shameless statement. What has that translated to? The fighting power of the military in 7 years. Just last week or 2 weeks ago, how many people were killed in Benue? How many people were killed in southern Kaduna? Yes. People are being killed every day. People are being kidnapped every day. Some small girls are still in captivity, and fighting power has increased. Some people can still not be able to travel, can still not travel across some states in the north. Bandits are still everywhere. Now, an American citizen was kept in captivity here in Nigeria, was kidnapped and held hostage, and was held hostage. They came from America to save that person. Osama bin Laden was in Pakistan, hiding. American soldiers traced him and killed him. Though America has his own blame on that, but can all the shenanigans going on in Nigeria, can it happen in other countries? In other developed countries? We have not seen the significant impact of the fighting power of the military. What has that translated to? What have we gained from that fighting power? Let them tell you what's happening today in the north, in Zamfara,
in Borno.
Though maybe because of Shetima, Boko Haram insurgents are now watering down the activities. Some people said maybe they have been appealed to. I wouldn't know, but there is still insecurity in Nigeria. Very glaring. Sure. Nigeria is still bustling in security, and we have the military. I wouldn't know anything like fighting power, increasing in fighting power.
We did. You subscribe to what Dele just said?
Yes,
you have a contrary opinion.
I want to say that we have to engage in fact check to be able to say whether the claim made by Mr. President the outgoing president is indeed the true situation, true picture, or represents the true picture of what is on ground. In the first instance, there is this the Global Firepower GFP. It's an organization that ranks every country's military capabilities annually, and in ranking African countries, Egypt was ranked the highest.
We are terrorism.
No, as the most the strongest army, having the strongest army in Africa.
Okay.
So we have Algeria coming second, and then South Africa before Nigeria. Even though the president claimed that the fighting power of the Nigerian army was
they were not able to make the first
was at the lowest ebb when he came on board in 2015. But from statistics, I think Nigeria was ranked the 5th in Africa then, and now we have taken just a step above that. There are some things that were looked at while ranking Nigeria as the 5th strongest, I mean the 4th strongest now in Africa, and probably the 36th in the whole world. We have the strength of Nigeria's land army now encompasses 177 tanks, 15,748 vehicles, 30 self-propelled artillery, 339 towered artillery, 37 rocket artillery, and a total aircraft of 144. So that's is in accordance with the breakdown given by the Global Firepower that has engaged in that ranking. And Nigeria has 25 high-powered naval vessels with total naval assets standing at 136, with an estimated budgetary defense allocation of about 3.4 billion US dollars. So when you take the totality of this into consideration, you want to say that the president might be right in saying that it has the strongest fighting power, no doubt about that. And if you take a look at what had bedeviled the country before now, honestly, it was more or less disheartening. It was disheartening, no doubt about that, because hardly a day will pass without one untoward incident being recorded in one part or in some parts of the country. So it was during the Buhari inherited insurgency, no doubt about that. It got worsened. Well, you might want to say it was not due to the government was not the cause of insurgency, and insurgency began during the era of Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, and it continued even during Yar'Adua and Jonathan. But banditry was an offshoot of terrorism, insurgency. It reared its ugly head during the time of Buhari. But in the recent past, I think we have to say that things, the situation has improved tremendously, and that's probably why the government might want to say it has the strongest. I think there's a marked difference between having the strongest fighting power.
No, he only remarked that that has increased.
Yes. So I think I think there's an improvement, but not yet Uhuru. Because when you take a look at Nigeria society, it is not yet secured. There are still pockets of towards development here and there, and it is the business of the government not only to secure lives but even the property of the inhabitants of that territory called Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
That's my own.
Thank you very much. We were in this country when one would leave Ibadan and head for Kano at around 7 o'clock in the evening, and we'll be going through and we'll be traveling through the night without any incident at all. What has become of Nigeria of today? And as Dele Ajayi has rightly said, if efforts are good, results is what Nigerians need. For Buhari to have said this, what he has said here may not commensurate with the results on ground. Dele?
Now, according to him, he read out the equipment and very high, sophisticated
that has not translated
army military weapon. Yes, it means there is compromise somewhere. The military looking the other way when Nigerians are being killed. What happened in Benue? About 38 people were killed in a day, 38. Not fowls, not goats, human beings. 38. In southern Kaduna, so many people were killed recently. And Kaduna is the base, the strongest base of the military of Nigerian army. Killings, maimings still going on in Kaduna. Blood flowing like damaged pipe water. A water pipe. Now, if they have this, where is the air surveillance? In Israel,
where is the intelligence?
Where is the intelligence? If they have all this, you have helicopters, you have this, you have that, you should be able to monitor the movement of these bandits and these criminals. It means there's compromise in Israel, and I know it will be the same in Saudi Arabia. If you go for pilgrimage, let there be hot argument anywhere, argument that could snowball into fighting or anything. Immediately you will find the Israeli police. They will come almost immediately. They won't be around that place, but they are monitoring. And the first thing they will tell you while going to Israel, don't try to do anything criminal. Don't incriminate yourself, because you are being monitored up to your room. They are monitoring you, and I want to believe it is like that everywhere. In the Arabian countries. So what's happening in Nigeria? If you have this sophisticated weapon, you have this material, you have these tools, and Nigerians are being killed. Unfortunately, the military, the police, the security agents have not arrested the killers of those people in Benue. They have not arrested anyone in Kaduna. They have not arrested these criminals anywhere in the country. Yet, we have all this. Yes, somebody will say the fighting spirit is increasing, the fighting power is increasing. What has it translated to? Nigerians are being killed. We are not goats.
Thank you, Dele. Yes, we go to the last topic of the day, and that has to do with the removal of the petrol subsidy. NEC suspends subsidy removal. That is, the National Executive Council suspends subsidy removal. Let me start from within. Within the hues and cries about subsidy removal has been so loud, but now it is suspended. Suspending it, is it of advantage?
Yes, the National Economic Council
Economic Council, yeah.
came up with this. It was presided over by the Vice President, and the council came up with this suspension. In the first instance, we need to probably take a retrospective look at the monster called subsidy. This subsidy issue are dragged on for too long. It was at a particular point in time, it was dubbed a scam, and indeed it is a scam, because we understand that quite a number of prospective investors were licensed by the government then to engage in what? In establishing refineries. It's unfortunate that our refineries have gone comatose. They are obsolete. We talk of Port Harcourt, Warri, the Kaduna refinery, among others. They have gone obsolete. And in probably coming up with the idea of removing subsidy, it is a good idea to remove subsidy, because those that are benefiting, they are doing so to the detriment of you and I. I don't know whether you even belong, because I know my class. Dele Ajayi might belong to the bourgeoisie, I don't know. But what we know is that an average person on the street is not benefiting from subsidy. And even the IMF, the World Bank, and other financial organizations, global ones, have spoken against the retention of subsidy as far as Nigeria's economy is concerned. It's unsustainable and is detrimental to economic growth. But my grouse is that it is coming too late. If subsidy is removed now, even though we know it that it's the provision for subsidy was made up to June in the current budget. So it is like passing the buck again to the next administration. In fact, the timing of removal is incongruous, because the government, the incoming administration will just have come on board. By May 29, we expect a new government to be sworn to come on the saddle, and you should have envisaged what could be the reaction of Nigerians to subsidy removal, because and putting in place palliatives in Nigeria, the economy, Nigeria's economy, the inflation and what have you, do not normally obey the law of gravity. Whatever goes up must come down. It won't come down. So my fear is that if no what will I say, no adequate measures are not put in place, and even tests around, we might be in for crisis. And I don't know how the incoming administration is going to, because the only option that is open now is for supplementary budget to be presented even before the exit of Buhari, before the National Assembly. And that might be the way to go. First, it will allow the incoming administration, Tinubu administration, to settle down. Okay. And take another look at it. Yeah. And then it will enable the committee put in place to interface with those that will be loyal to the incoming administration, to fine-tune whatever arrangements they have on ground, to be able to have a seamless transition. From subsidy regime to the next one that won't be without subsidy. That won't be without subsidy.
Subsidy is insulting, very insulting, very, very embarrassing, very, very shameful that we are still discussing subsidy. 2023. Let's start from 1999 when Obasanjo took over. Subsidy, since then we have been discussing subsidy since 1999.
The same subsidy.
And what is subsidy? What are we talking about when we say subsidy? Is government paying certain amount of money to cushion the effect of the amount of money we would have been buying petroleum products. Why?
It's the landing cost.
The landing cost.
Well, we have crude in Nigeria. We take crude to abroad. We are bringing refined.
We will go and refine. It's like the Jeshas. They have yam, but they don't have
only Jeshas.
Well, I wouldn't know any other in Osun State.
Only Jesha only take pounded yam.
Because of that.
Okay.
No, I know you want to intervene. You have an interest.
They like to eat pounded yam. They don't have mortars to pound the yam.
Yeah.
They now bring their yam, their 2 bags of yam, to Osogbo to pound. While
Osogbo is nearby.
Okay.
Kutonu.
Now they take those 2 bags of yam to where they will pound. That is the first cost. Is taking the yam to where the yam will be pounded.
Yes.
The yam will be pounded there. Another cost. The product, the finished product,
will be brought back.
Pounded yam will be brought back.
Another cost.
Another cost for people to eat. So the landed cost of pounded yam will be too much for the citizens, for the Jeshas to bear. Okay, the Jeshas will now say the chiefs, okay, we will pay certain amount of money to reduce the cost for you because you like pounded yam. We like you. Why couldn't they go there, buy the materials to pound the yam instead of taking the 2 bags of yam to that place to pound? That is subsidy. You subsidize so as to reduce the suffering of the people.
Yeah.
According to them, you pay so that you won't feel it. Instead of paying 300 naira to buy a liter of food, the federal government will have paid 150, leaving 150 for you to pay. That is subsidy. Why or how do we now find, or did we find ourselves in that stage? Because the refineries are not working.
Yes.
Because some people are making Nigerians. They have constituted themselves to conduct pie, siphoning the nation's money through subsidy. Through subsidy. If subsidy is removed, the less privileged, the poor people, the paupers will be at the receiving end. How much do you buy a Congo of gari, a Congo of rice, a Congo of beans today? A bag of cement. Those things will increase. So what the total sum of what we are saying is that those who occupy the corridor of power in Nigeria don't care about the less privileged.
They don't.
They don't care about what happens to me, what happens to you. If not one, if not two, the federal government ought to have brought on board or to have rehabilitated One refinery since 1999. If not, we have refinery in Kaduna, we have in Warri, we have in Port Harcourt. Why I said, and they are illegal. They are, as we speak in Nigeria, we have illegal refineries across Port Harcourt, across Warri.
Yes.
Illegal refineries. When Wendy was talking the other time, he said something about marine, what do they call it, with which the naval officers fight.
Yes, yes.
We have all those equipment, yet they still carry our oil, our crude oil across on the sea. And naval officers cannot interject, they cannot do anything. I don't know what is wrong with Nigeria. I don't know what is wrong with our leaders. Leaders are meant to provide solution. Leaders are elected to oversee our commonwealth, not their own personal wealth.
Not to squander. Thank you, Dele. Our time is fast spent. In fact, we have just 1 minute left. So it is sensible at this point to appreciate Mwendine Adeleke for coming. I know he has a lot to say, but the time is not our friend.
I would just say that the subsidy is a monster that had been purposefully nurtured by the power that be, and it has become uncontrollable now.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we are going to do it.
Before I go, well, I have this remark to say. It is easy to draw trouble with one hand in. It is not easy to push it out with two hands. Even with the legs added to it, it is not.
Just like insurgency was nurtured.
So it is on this note that I shall be appreciating my guest on the program. Mwendine Adeleke, thank you for coming. Dele Ajayi, thank you for coming. We appreciate your contributions on the program, and Nigerians know on what side. They know that we are always standing on the side of the truth of this program. Special thanks to the producer of the program, Oladayo Oladepeko, and the executive producer, Akeola Olabi. Babatunde Bolatito is my name. Next Friday is another time that we shall be meeting on the program. And it is on that note that I will say happy weekend to you in advance, and good evening.